Oh, ain't that fancy. All right, hi. My name is Jono. I'm one of the developers at dvc.games and on Roll Builder. We have spoken to some of our playtesters and our fans, and there was a conversation about doing a Let's Play, so I printed out a copy of Memphis, and I have my friend Kai here to help record audio and make sure I sound okay, so hopefully this goes well. If you have not read the rules, they are available on Board Game Geek, as well as our website, dvc.games. If you have not picked up the game, it's available on dvc.games and itch.io under Roll Builder. So, if you have the game and you know the rules or are still brushing up on how to play, you are welcome to play along and see if you could beat my score on either Memphis or any map. So, I have my map, I have my pen, and I have my 2 dice. I'll try to do my best to vocalize why I'm doing things, get an insight into how I play, which might be interesting for some folks, but at the same time, there are some playtesters who frequently beat me every time we play this, so I'm curious if in the future I could get some of them to play. Here we go. All right, first numbers. 5 and 6. 5 and 6. 'All right, I'm already thinking I'm going to use a tomb early on, because why not? I've been gifted a tomb with the 5, and unless I get geometry, I'm not going to be modifying dice rolls anytime soon, so I'm going to give my best shot, build a tomb. As well as connect up a bunch of stone in case I need it later. But this gives me access already to 2 wonder actions, and placing a tomb gets me to use them again. So first turn, 4 wonder actions. This map is one of the few where you have to build the wonder bottom up, so I'll work my way up on the small pyramid and get some early gains, but I'll probably leave the top untouched. 3 and 6. I'm not sure if I want a workshop or a fort, and I'm not going to necessarily spend a 6 here unless there's an emergency. A 6 is just so many roads. I'd rather use the roads in order to collect more potential resources and either lean into river barges or flood farming. The early innovations tend to be about resources and access. The later ones tend to be about altering the rules or gaining additional points by some sort of metric. Placing the workshop there also gets me 2 stone on top of the wild card innovation. So I should be able to just cross off 3 circles on something, and then the decision here is, do I want to lean into something like masonry, river barges, flood farming, or something that came to mind is maybe I can make a rush for the Great Sphinx, which is a lot of extra wonder actions if I build forts and temples. I've also spaced these so that I can fit a temple inside of it later. It's worth noting, and something some people forget, is you don't have to use a resource immediately when you connect to it, such as the stones I just used that I actually connected to last turn. I could actually leave there until I feel like I know what I want to use them for. Using 3 roads to complete a space triggers my road ability, which is an extra wonder action. That extra wonder action gives me 4 coins to spend, which I commonly store until I need them. Next turn. Three and 6. So I'm within striking distance of just finishing this pyramid, but it's just points, so I'm not going to worry about that. I do get an extra wonder action at the end of the game if I don't get around to it, so I'm going to focus on a different pyramid. It's interesting because a 6 is another workshop. It's another collection of stone, and I'm well placed to put a really, really good workshop right here. I think that's the only space on the map that's next to many different stone of that quantity. It is +1 stone for each adjacent stone, so that's 4 stones, so I'm going to go for it. Which lets me work on a few projects simultaneously. Not sure when I'm necessarily going to get strength anytime soon, so using those wild innovation actions to get rid of these strength costs saves me some trouble. If I could get the Great Sphinx early, that's 4 points, and I can actually really focus on the wonder, which I think Memphis does better than most of the other sheets, is to really focus on the wonder. It has, I think, the most wonder spaces of any map. So investing is a lot of points if I put the time in. Next turn. Four and 6. I've never gotten this many 6s in a row, so I don't know where it's going to take me. This might not be a good move, but I'll leave that to you to question. I have this opportunity to get the Sphinx right now, and I'm tempted to just go for it, so I will. Placing the workshop gets me 2 stone that I don't necessarily need. I'll just leave it in masonry. But more importantly, it gets me 1 more innovation action. Well, bonus to get rid of that last strength. And the 4 can be a temple. And I've already set myself up for a temple that gets me the 2 favor I need to discover the Great Sphinx. So from now on, forts and temples give me wonder actions. So I could consider investing a lot more time in this because there's just many more opportunities to do so. Now, it's worth noting I still haven't used my gold. This map doesn't have a lot of resource exchange like a map like Alexandria or Petra does. So gold is gold, or wealth. I'm used to calling gold, it was called. But let's see. I could eventually spend it on geometry and get that flexibility. But my nemesis never builds geometry, and he insists that I do not need to build geometry. I don't have to give in to such weakness. So I try my best. I try my best to challenge myself, and then I ultimately end up getting geometry. I have not discovered his exact wizardy ways of how he's been able to pull it off. But right now, placing a farm gets me some food. I'm not as worried about food immediately. I'm more worried about the wonder, and I'll get some food and some strength from the wonder, which is super nice. So I'll keep investing there. Spending the 1 to fill in one space, and spending the 2 to fill in the other. I now get a bonus innovation, so I can just work on something of my choice. If I want to spend 2 stone right now, I have masonry, so I think I will. And the 2 wealth as well. Three and 4. Good news, both of those are buildings that build the wonder, so I have the option just to lean into that a whole lot if I want to. It's interesting, I haven't really moved towards Sahara traders or river barges, even though I've invested a bunch of stone in it, but that might be an option for later. The extra wonder actions, if I want to go for a very wonder-focused win or success, I could. But right now I get so many benefits from the Great Sphinx, which I was able to get way earlier than I'm used to getting. So maybe I'm going to try leaning into that today, see what happens. I could put the strength into Chariot Cavalry, but I think I just want points. It's worth noting that I just have to complete the 2 boxes below a box in order to make it available. And I'm not sure if I'm going to go for said festival, so I'm going to continue to convert favor as well into points. Three and 3. At the end of the game, each building and each wonder space filled as a point, the Great Sphinx really doubles the bang for your buck of putting a building down, which is a point plus some resources, as well as fill in a space of your wonder, a point and potentially some resources. I like that combination. I don't think there's another sheet currently that has such a good combination in favor of your wonder. Especially the availability is so much easier to get here since you simply have to work from the bottom up instead of fulfilling very specific criteria to make boxes available. Also, what would I do with all these forts? I don't have geometry. I've succeeded so far in not needing it. But I still could place a bunch of roads. I famously am not big on road network. But there's definitely points to be had if I don't want to just keep doing this. But if I put down 2 forts, I'll get 3 food. I say that out loud, and now I like it. Surrounding that starting space so it can be a temple maybe in the future. Now I can't save the food, so I have to spend it on something. I've already invested in river barges. I will continue to invest. Two and 6. It's interesting, when developing this map, Workshop used to be weaker. It used to be for stone spaces, not stone on the space, which gave it a lot more flexibility. Memphis was the second map ever made, originally as Giza. And an issue that came up in playtesting was that as other maps came up that were more inventive and had weirder combinations, that Memphis fell behind. And we found very small things to tweak. We added the market to the map, as well as updating the Great Sphinx to its current ability, which is clearly making my day very interesting, and the workshop being a little bit more powerful suddenly made it brand new. Two roads, maybe I could pick up some supplies I need. Might be worth just 1 point, but river barges, I can now cross the water. The 6 could be a workshop, or I could use it to actually quickly rush Sahara traders, like so. Leaving me 1 road left over. Do I want stone at the moment? Who knows? But for now, that's 2 more wonder spaces off of Sahara traders. And 2 more strength. Halfway, I'm feeling good. I am interested in the fact that I haven't gone with my most common strategies. Mainly, I love flood farming and chariot cavalry and just converting all of my food into horses and just getting as many points as I can off of that. Today's a day for a new adventure. Even after personally having played Memphis over 30 times, I still find something new. So this is exciting. A farm and a temple couldn't have been better timed for my very conservatively small, not exploration-based map. Of course, I can still dump things into roads, but I kind of like leaving some resources on the map and seeing if I can optimize buildings in the wonder, because those are points. Exploring the map, those points are usually placed super inefficiently for the work. Farm next to the water is 2 food, which unfortunately I do have to spend immediately. And I know that I have stone to spend in the future, but in the meantime, I think I'll just slowly invest in said festival because it's worth 3 points even if I haven't optimized its ability. And now a perfectly placed temple. That gives me 1 more wonder action, so I'm going to go ahead and cap off one of my pyramids. This is one of the few sheets that we've worked on in which you have to use the special wonder action rather than a number to cap it off. So I can't use a die to finish these. I have to use some other effect. But placing a temple also has given me 6 favor. So 2 to said festival and the rest in the bank. One and 6. Now the question is, do I still invest in my wonder? I'm pretty well designed to do it. I don't think I have enough room in these last few turns to pull off the whole largest pyramid, which has some great benefits to it, but that first benefit is 4 stone, and unless I toss it into flood farming late in the game, or a little bit in geometry, there's enough resources on the map to get those things. So 4 stone's actually not very valuable right now. I could use masonry to convert it into more wonder, though. I'm easy for me to forget that sometimes. I think I might give it a shot. Note that, of course, buildings can go on top of resources or points on the map, regardless of if they're used or not. with river barges on my side, can I place 6 roads that access me as much stone as possible, or do I place a workshop and hope to garner extra stone that I can convert into wonder? I'm tempted to actually access stone. And since masonry lets me use stone as a wonder once per turn, let's spend some of the stone on the map to work on the big one. And now I get a building of my choice. I think a tomb is going to be my best option. That's 3 points by default, and I want to optimize building my wonder if I'm committing to this. I only remember now how I did miss out on one of the possible very good spaces for a tomb, but no matter. We'll make it work. Almost there. A 4 and a 6. Again, the usefulness of a 6 with the right location with stone gets me wonder spaces of certain values, especially low values when I'm down here. So I'm tempted to give it a little push. Let's try it. Make it far over to where more stone is on the other side of the river and get me closer to triggering Sahara Traders a second time. You can use the 2 wonders reward from it twice. Store my gold for later. I get 3 stone, and if I use this, I have 4. Which will be interesting because when I gain that 4 stone, it is specifically done on this map, so that 4 stone could, with masonry, be used to immediately gain this 4 that's on the next level. Oh, and before I forget, that workshop did give me some ability to cross something off, so work on said festival. What an absolute bounty of 6s. Out of excellent spots to put a tomb, so I'm tempted to use it more effectively towards creating the groups of 6 that will trigger with said festival. I finished 2 groups of 6 lines around spaces. However, that doesn't trigger architects twice in the same turn, just once, but I am going to be building up to a better said festival. And now that 6, again, can be used to try to grab a stone of some sort from somewhere. Note that the workshop says adjacent, so the space it's on doesn't actually count towards it. So I only get 2 stone from placing it there, but that's more than enough. Kai just pointed out to me that you could faintly hear the steel drums in the background of where we're filming this, which is quite entertaining. So if you feel slightly like you're in the Caribbean right now, like subconsciously, that's the message we're sending you subconsciously, that you need a vacation. 2-2. That's just markets, not exciting. Can I instead take this opportunity to grab my Sahara traders and maybe finish another group of 6 or trigger the said festival? I usually like to cross it off when I know that I just can't use it anymore. Another trigger of architects will finish the row. And on this turn, I have not used stone in order to work on my wonders, so I can immediately convert that stone using masonry. I have 5 more spaces, maybe I can pull it off, or I could just focus on getting my points elsewhere, such as the map points that I clearly have left untouched, but those feel guaranteed. If I get some poor rolls, I can try to push towards at least making those rolls matter at this point. If I get really good rolls, I can go for broke. We like temples. We have a spot for a temple. Do we like temples enough to go again, which would double down on favor, or do I use this? I only have 1 more turn, and if I roll 1s and 2s, I'm not going to reach stuff on the map in the way that I might want to, but I'm going to take the risk. And just spotted that there was a way better place to put the first one, but it all works out. Last roll. A 2 and a 4. Two isn't going to get me necessarily very far unless I just use it to grab points maybe from somewhere, as well as 1 more food to finish off the said festival. How many spaces have 6 roads? 5. Didn't expect to be as this favor heavy, but we've been granted many temples. And again, a very dense city of a lot of buildings will actually benefit temples, as opposed to very sparse, spread out ones that are usually optimizing the workshop, the tomb, or the farm. And you can't place temples in the middle of the water. So I've seen maps where the river's full of flood farms. No good place for a temple. And if I get 3 more favor, I'll have finished the track and got the maximum favor points perfectly. Which also gives me a wonder space. Unfortunately, it leaves me just 1 wonder space short, because I don't see any stone that I can just grab at this moment. That would, of course, buy a 6 value up here. So I get to use my last wonder space just to cap off that first pyramid. Which brings us to scoring. Let's see how we did, starting with number of buildings. Now the road network, which I famously do terribly at. Ten. It's worth knowing every map there's 18 points on the map. counting from innovations. 10. And now, where I'm really gathering up a whole lot of points besides our wonder, resources. That's our gold, our favorite, and our strength. One point for every 2 stored wealth, giving us 2 points, 15 from our favor, and 3 from our strength. An even 20. Now the big kahuna, 1 point for every space filled on the wonder. $29. And 8 points from capping those 2 wonders. Final edition magic time. Guy, you can count me up. Oh, you did. Look at you. Thank you so much. 95. I was very much blessed by a whole lot of 6s, but 95 I think might be my personal highest score for this map, but still does not beat the highest score on record, which I believe is 102. So our playtester AGM will continue to revel in that and probably play these roles and still beat my 95. But hey, I didn't use geometry this time. If you'd like to play and post about it on our Discord, or just send us a message about how it went for you, let us know. Comment it, etc. I'm curious what your score is on any map, including Memphis. You can look forward to a lot of 6s on this set of rolls, so I'm curious how well you'll do. I hope you enjoyed this and look forward to us putting together a proper how-to-play video some point in the future, so that you can better learn how to play Role Builder and contribute to the community as we try to create new, exciting, inventive maps that honor very interesting places throughout history. Thank you for joining us.